very good morning, children, and welcome back after the PA1 examination. I'm happy that most of you have really done well in your PA1 examination. And for PA2, we have lesson 2, that is matter around us pure? In PA1, that means in the first lesson, we just learnt about matter, how it is physically present. We did not go deeper into what is matter made of. We just saw the physical states of matter, the characteristics of what is matter actually composed of, and the characteristics of particles of matter. And then we just saw about one of the the interconversion of the states of matter and evaporation. But now in our second chapter, as I told you earlier, that step by step, lesson by lesson, we will be going deeper into the realms of matter, and we shall be exploring new things about matter. In our second chapter, Is Matter Around Us Pure?, we will be looking into the chemical composition of matter in detail. So already I just explained you about this flow chart during the month of April actually. For those who missed it, please do pay attention. Matter is actually composed of pure substance and mixtures. Usually there are more mixtures present in the nature. Most of the things are present in the form of mixtures rather than pure substances. Pure substances are also there, but comparatively more mixtures are present in nature. The pure substances are composed they are nothing but elements and compounds. The elements and compounds, they together are, they come under the category of pure substances. What are elements, children? These are the simplest substances that cannot be broken down into individual constituents or components. It's like they are they are indivisible, or they cannot be broken down further. So these elements can be either metals, metalloids, and non-metals. Whereas compounds are those substances which are made up of two or more elements. They are combining in a fixed ratio. So in the month of April, I gave a detailed description about compounds and elements also, and I gave you certain study material for these two in the form of pics, and explanation also was done. So not a problem, I will be sending it again to you. Elements and compounds, what is the major difference and all, we'll have one session for that. And if you talk about mixtures, we have homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. This we have been learning right from 6th class onwards. What are homogeneous mixtures and what are heterogeneous mixtures? Homogeneous mixtures are those in which the constituents, mainly these are based, this differentiation or the classification is mainly based on the nature of the constituents which are present in the mixture. Like in a mixture, two or more substances are mixed together. Yes, two or more different constituents. How are they mixed? Are the constituents mixed uniformly? Are they dissolving completely? Are they seen by our naked eye after their dissolution or mixing? That differentiates. That is the deciding or criteria behind this classification: homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. If the constituents are homogeneous mixtures, nothing but solutions, they are called as solutions, because here what happens is, this is nothing but a true solution where the constituents of the mixture is not, they are not seen by the naked eye, because the particle size is so small that they eventually mix up in the solution, mix up in the mixture. We can't differentiate, or they don't have any boundaries, like we can't differentiate between different constituents. There can be one, or there may be more than one constituent present, but just by looking at it, you cannot differentiate it. Okay, and we have got some more criteria which we will be discussing in detail. Now in heterogeneous mixtures, we have two types of solutions, actually colloids and suspension. So this is the basic. I will be discussing about the colloids and suspensions also later. Heterogeneous means what? Here you can easily find out. You can see that the distribution of the constituents of mixture is not uniform, and you can easily know that these are mixed in it, and as you can see, the composition of the mixture is not even throughout. Okay, that means one side some constituent is present more in one particular area of the mixture, and it's not mixed uniformly like that, you understand. So we'll be learning about all these things in detail in Matter Around Us Pure, Is Matter Around Us Pure chapter. Okay, for today, let us talk about these elements and compounds. Okay, and we shall talk a little about the solutions also. Elements and compounds, I feel that I want you, because right from 6th class and 7th class we have been learning about it. I want some of my students, or in fact everybody, to write a short notes, the definitions of elements, okay, the compounds, and you can give some examples of elements and compounds and major differences between the elements and compounds. This is the task for you children. If you feel that it is a little difficult, please ask me personally. I'll be explaining to you, and I want you to come up with some PowerPoint presentation or something related to elements and compounds. I will be explaining, I'll be sending a video to you regarding this later. But I want my students to come up on their own voluntarily and prepare a nice PowerPoint presentation simply about elements and compounds. Okay, talking about the homogeneous mixtures, as I told you already, that two or more different constituents, when they are mixed in some in a mixture, when they are mixed together, if the composition is very uniform or evenly distributed, all the constituents, if they are evenly distributed, and when you can't see the constituents of mixture with your naked eye, such solutions or nothing but such mixtures are called as solutions. The best example is nothing but mixing salt in water. When you mix salt in water, after some time you cannot see any trace of salt whatsoever, right? So that kind of solution, actually what is present along with water, we have the salt molecules also, the salt substance also. So these two substances, one is a solid which is dissolved in a liquid, aqueous solutions. All these are examples of true solutions which are nothing but they come under the category of homogeneous mixtures, children. Got it? So a solution has two components. What are they, ma? They are solute. One is solute and the other one is solvent. Now what is a solute? Usually what we think in our mind when I talk about a solution or a solute, usually you think of a solid substance mixed which can dissolve in water or any other solvent. But a solute cannot be necessarily solid. It can be liquid or it can be what you call a gaseous substance too. So what is a solute? That is dissolved in other part of the component of the solution, that is solvent. It is something which is dissolved in the solvent. Okay, it can be a liquid, it can be a solid, it can be a gas. Give me some examples of liquid solvents. Can you give any examples of liquid solvents? Acetone, right? Acetone is a liquid which is dissolved in water. It mixes up completely. What about solid? You can take iodine crystals, okay, or salt or sugar, whatever. What about gas? You can just think of the aerated drinks, nothing but the soda waters. What do they contain? They contain carbonated. They are the carbonated waters. Carbon dioxide they contain. So what are all these? These are nothing but the solutes which are dissolved in something else. So these are usually present in smaller quantity. So usually the component of the solution which is present in smaller quantity, and it can be a liquid, solid or gas, is called as a solute. Okay children? It's usually present in a smaller quantity. And if you talk about solvent, now you understand. Solvent is something which is larger in quantity, which is bigger in quantity, and it dissolves the solute. Did you understand? This is dissolved in solvent, and the solvent is something which dissolves the solute because it is a true solution. Did you understand? So this is present in larger quantity. This is present in larger quantity, and this also need not necessarily be water all the time. It need not be water. If it is water, we call that as aqueous solution. What is it called? Aqueous solution. It can be other solvents also, like it can be alcohol, it can be what you call carbon disulfide or anything like that. Okay. So here you can understand that sometimes acetone, iodine. What is the tincture of iodine made up of? Do you have any idea? The tincture of iodine which we apply to the wounds and all, when you get hurt or anything, they apply tincture of iodine in order to make it, it's antiseptic solution. What is it made up of? It is iodine salt dissolved in acetone. It is iodine salt, I'm sorry, iodine, which is crystals dissolved in alcohol, acetone. Okay, so that is how iodine tincture of iodine is prepared. So here, and the carbonated or the soda water, carbon dioxide is mixed in water. In that way, or sometimes the sulfur is mixed in carbon disulfide. This is another solvent. So this is how solutions are made, and these are called as true solutions because the uniformity, the texture, what you call the composition, the color, everything will be same throughout the solution. If you take some soda water or the soft drinks and all, so every part, part of the liquid will have the same taste. There are so many substances mixed in it, yet it is very clear, you cannot see the constituents present in them, and they have a uniform composition, the same color throughout, the same taste throughout, right? So such mixtures, they are called as homogeneous substances, so homogeneous mixtures, and solutions is one of the key, one of the, it's nothing but solutions come under the category of homogeneous mixtures, children. Okay, now how much of solute is dissolved in, so it can be dissolved in a solvent. This will be talking in our next class. Thank you.